За сайн байцгаана уу? За та бүхэндээ Итали улсын Ром хотоос мэдчилж байна. За тэгээд өнөөдрийн манай AMIRA-гийн Debits, Credits and Coffee гэдэг нэртэй подкастэнд манай 3 дахь зочин ороход бэлэн болсон байна. За тэгээд би Swiss School of Management Монголын салбараа төлөөлөөд энэ олон улсын захирлуудын хуралдаа оролцож байгаа энэ завшааныг ашиглаад манай Swiss School of Management-ийн Дубай салбарын төлөөлөл болох маш мундаг хүнтэй ярилцахаар одоо хамт сууж байна. За тэгэхээр хэдүүлээ өнөөдөр бол коучинг гэж юу юм? За тэгээд коучинг mindset яагаад чухал юм гэдэг талаар товчхон юм богинохон яриаг хүргэхээр SSM Rome campus-ийн library дээр сууж байна. За тэгээд яриагаа эхэлцгээе. Та бүхэнд таалагдана гэдэгт итгэлтэй байна. Okay, good morning, Tallene.
Good morning, Zula.
Thank you for accepting my invitation to be in our podcast.
Thank you for having me. This is very, very exciting for me.
Yeah, and we are also excited to have you here because it's our, third episode of this brand new podcast called Debits, Credits and Coffee. So, as accountants, debits, credits are our everyday work, daily work, but we also love coffee. We operate basically on coffee. So
I love that.
Yeah, I love that the fact that we are here in Italy, which is the country of good coffee, and we just had ours, so we're ready to go, right?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Yeah. So could you please introduce us to our, viewers today, because they are mostly, financial professionals in Mongolia and also young entrepreneurs in Mongolia, and they would be very interested in your, career.
Okay, so I'll give a bit of an introduction about myself. It's a little bit long. So Tallene Badawi, so as a name, and I am based in Dubai. From a professional point of view, I actually come from marketing. So I have a bachelor in marketing from Canada. I'm also Palestinian Canadian, and and so I studied in Canada. I did my bachelor in commerce. I majored in marketing, and so I had a corporate experience for more than 12 years in the corporate world in marketing. But at some point in time, I decided to make a career shift and I went into coaching. And coaching basically was just the beginning because I went to coaching, I went to business psychology. And so today, when somebody asks me, what do you do? I always say I'm in the knowledge transference field because I am an executive coach, leadership coach, and, business coach. I'm an organizational development consultant. I am a facilitator and a trainer.
Wow.
And I teach psychology as well and coaching modules in different academies and universities. So it's much easier to say in the knowledge transference. I do have a master's in organizational psychology and I'm currently doing my doctorate in business administration, focusing on coaching strategies.
Wow, that's amazing.
Long.
Very inspiring. Yeah, many, different trainings and positions, and as we say, many different hats.
Indeed.
And you are a mother too.
I'm a single mom of 2 kids, and they actually are they are my true north. So both my kids are neurodivergent. My son is high functioning, mildly autistic with ADHD. My daughter has ADHD, and I always bring that into the equation because they've taught me to look at the world from a completely different perspective and communicate differently and realize not to own my own opinion.
Exactly.
And adopt somebody else's opinion, adopt somebody else's perspective. So yes, I'm a single mom of those 2 beautiful. My son is 13, my daughter is 11.
Oh, so lucky to have them. I also feel you because, I'm in the same shoes and obviously, chasing, the career, but, doing what you love and being with who you love at the family, just, key to happiness, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. And they really do... they make it all worth it, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Okay. Oh, so nice. So, when you are, working with your colleagues, started, coaching them or introducing coaching mindset, what do you bring from home, from the experience that you have with your kids? Because, you had to, in my opinion, you have to make a lot of hard work to, make it work. Because, parenting is not an easy job.
What can I tell you, Zula? Look, I think if I were told how challenging parenting was going to be, I think I probably would have shied away from taking that step, because I always state and I always say, I don't know if I'm qualified enough to be a mother. And
True.
That's,
We didn't know.
no, we had no idea. In fact, you and I were just talking about a couple of things that I did on YouTube, and one of them is called The Confession of an Unfit Mother. And it's sort of the idea of, I don't know if I'm doing it right. I don't know if I'm doing it wrong.
Yeah.
But one thing that if you're asking about the coaching mindset that I bring with me to parenting, is it's not about perfection, and it's not about having a polished image, especially when it comes to parenting.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing and learning your own learning and process. Is being open that somebody younger, maybe less experienced, has something new to bring to the table. Like I said, my kids are neurodivergent, so they look at things differently. So when I'm trying to push them to do something, they come back at me and say, "Oh, but mommy, this is how it should be," or, "We're younger. This is how you want to deal with us."
True.
So it was that. On top of that is being curious, being inquisitive, listening, active listening, like really listening to what they have to say and trying to understand. Because again, you probably experienced that with your kids. They don't always have the vocabulary. So sometimes they're speaking, and maybe the words that they're saying are telling you one thing, but when you actively listen, you look at their energy, you look at the emotions that they bring forward, exactly, and you hear something different. So the coaching mindset allows you to come in and ask a question that maybe opens up the space, the safe space, for them to come and basically say, "Yeah, this is actually what I'm thinking. This is actually what I'm feeling," and it's quite rewarding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Actually, like when we try to listen more and be in the present, our minds are always racing, about work and business and many things. But sometimes, even when we are physically with our kids,
Yeah.
sometimes we don't really fully listen to what they're trying to say. And yeah, that's true. And we are not perfect. We're still working for that, and just accepting that we are not perfect and we're learning every day.
Absolutely.
Was a big relief for me, as a perfectionist.
I'm glad you said that word, because I'm the same. And, you kind of always want that polished image of like, no, it has to come out perfect. And then you're like, and then even with as you're parenting, and it's, by the way, I think there's a parallel between parenting and, if I may say, entrepreneurship. So,
yes.
It's sort of like the minute you feel like you've got something figured out, a new phase opens up, and you're like, what? But I just understood this. I just managed to understand how to manage this part of my life, how to manage this part of the job, how to manage this part of parenting. Exactly. And then the kids grow up and their needs change, and you're like, okay, now we need to learn something new. And it's the same thing. So it's sort of, I see a parallel between the two as well.
Yeah, I think I agree. As an entrepreneur and as a mother, all of the skills that we learn, being a mother helps a lot to be an entrepreneur. So,
for sure.
Definitely on the same page on that. Thank you for saying that.
Validates, right?
Yes. Yeah, and also I think our audience is quite interested in your, early career journey. So until you become an executive coach, what did you have to learn and observe, and what did you, learn from the real life experience when you were a young professional?
So I have a story to share with my previous, let's say my pre-coaching days versus my post-coaching days, because Perfect. I always like to look at that a little bit differently. So when I was in the corporate world, I was a brand manager in one of the free zones in Dubai, and it was the education free zone. And I remember as I was, I felt like I was burning out, and I felt like it was, things were a little bit different. My personality at the time was very different. It wasn't a coach's personality. It was very much I was young, I was inexperienced from an emotional intelligence. So I remember whenever my boss would push me, I would always say like, oh, he has it in for me. He doesn't want me to thrive. It was so easy to blame him for maybe the things I didn't do. It doesn't necessarily, I'm not saying he was 100% right and I was 100% wrong, but the accountability fell apart a little bit at some point. Now, when I reflect on that time as a coach, I look back and I say, wow, if I knew then what I know now, I wonder how differently the interaction between me and my boss would have been. It might have been healthier. I might have owned up to a lot more. I might have held myself accountable more. Maybe also communicated his accountability a little bit more. So the coaching brings that self-awareness, brings that regulation. It takes away the pressure of the perfectionism.
True.
Because it's like, as a perfectionist, you can't make a mistake. And it's shameful to make a mistake. As a coach, it's all about trial and error. It's all about, let's experiment. And what's the worst case scenario? And it's like asking all these questions that open up new mental pathways that makes you experience things differently and think of things differently.
Yeah, that's really true, because especially, everybody makes mistakes, but owning up to your mistake, that's a big thing. Absolutely.
And I'll tell you my journey as an entrepreneur has actually sort of, kind of evolved differently. My company, like my entrepreneurship energy started in 2020. So when everybody was locking down, I was launching my work and I was like, oh, so I'm working for myself now. So it was a challenging time, but thankfully I had really good clients that were very committed to development and whatnot, and they believed in me and whatnot. But then you start building your name. And today, as you know, I'm the director of coaching at SSM, where we've actually developed a coaching program. And that was yet another milestone that in the entrepreneurship, where at one point you're providing service for somebody.
Exactly.
Today, we do that, but we're also telling people we are good enough to help you do what we do.
Exactly.
And I think that to get to that point is quite rewarding.
Yeah, true. We got the similar, history as well. I also kicked off my, company during the COVID time, 2020.
Really?
Yeah. I think it was a, very good, self-reflecting time for everybody, because, what are we working for? What do we like? True. Are we going to keep living like, in a rat race, whatever? I think I had a lot to think on and definitely found my passion. So amazing. And also, I wanted to ask one thing which I'm curious of. You are working with executives and directors who are, highly skilled and professional and successful people already.
Right.
So when you are coaching them, what's the secret?
Look, that's an excellent question. The secret is very simple. We're all humans. And at the end of the day, the coaching layer or the executive layer is, the way I see it, is a bit of a lonely layer. Yeah. So executives have similar challenges. They have their own insecurities, their own challenges, their own dreams, and they want to align with their personal goals. They want to align with their organizational, professional goals. And it becomes a very interesting space for them, because they are held accountable for not just their achievements, but the achievements of their team. When they experience a challenge, it's not always easy for them to communicate with their peers, with their managers or their line manager, or with their team. So they are in a very peculiar space where, like I said, a lonely space where they need to be strong, but they need the space to be fluid, to explore, to tap into their limiting beliefs, to tap into their cognitive distortions, to really come down and understand what motivates them, what scares them, what energizes them. To do that, you need to have that safe space. And usually the best avenue is an executive coach, because your executive coach comes in to hold you in a confidential, safe space environment for you to explore all of these ideas without the repercussions or the consequences that could come up if you are just sharing it out with in a management meeting or whatnot. So it becomes, of course, a very interesting dynamic, because you start as a coach. Sometimes you almost become an advisor if you're working with them, a human behavior advisor, as you work with them for a longer term. So the secret is to give them the safe space, again, to listen and and to look at them as humans. They're just humans with a bigger and heavier weight on their shoulder, and validate that and acknowledge it, and then basically take it from there.
Wow, thank you. I feel like crying. I don't know. I resonate a lot with whatever you're saying, so I feel also a little bit emotional. So when you were mentioning a lot about active listening, what would you explain it, in one sentence about what active listening is to our, audience?
Yeah. So active listening is listening with the intention to understand what the person is trying to say. That's what active listening. So it's not with the intention to reply. There's the difference, right? So because when we listen, a lot of the times we're listening to reply. But when we actively listen, we're listening with the intention to understand and to help the person feel understood. That's it in one sentence.
Yeah, that's the main difference, right?
Absolutely.
Amazing. And obviously, coaching and active listening and all those, soft skills, we can't, talk about everything, obviously, in one podcast. So, we need to really have, as leaders and as entrepreneurs, business owners, we need to learn these kind of new skills in order to better manage ourselves, our team, and also the new generation coming in. And everybody is talking about, challenges of leading or, managing the Gen Zs. So,
right.
Yeah, what would you say about, Gen Zs, and how should we approach, as leaders?
I love that you're asking that question, because my dissertation is on Gen Z, is on coaching strategies to provide leaders to engage and retain Gen Z. So you're kind of tapping into something I'm very passionate about, something I'm working on right now. One of the most important things is that we need to start thinking differently for Gen Z. They're coming in to change the status quo. And what they're saying is, we need to be heard. So that's number one. We need feedback. We don't just need we don't do sink or swim. Like, I'm a Gen X. We were all about the sink or swim. And I still even see it today. Gen Z, don't do well with a sink or swim. They need to be given feedback, frequent feedback. They need to be mentored. They need to be coached. They need to be validated. But they also need to be heard and acknowledge that they come with a lot of ideas. They come with a lot of knowledge, but very little experience.
Yes.
And what happens with leaders is we kind of look at Gen Z and say, you don't have experience. What do you have to talk about, right? But if we go back to parenting, right? It's the same thing, right? Your kids will come, oh, I want to do this. You should do this. And all of this, right? It's the same conversation. One is professional, one is personal. And you can minimize what they're saying and then lose them. Or you could say, I love the idea. Let's sit and collaborate on idea and experience. So what do we need to do for Gen Z to keep them, to lead them? Bring them to the table. Listen with a coaching eye, with a coaching lens. Don't be so attached to your own leadership style. Be more situational, be a coach, be a mentor, be a leader when you need to, right? It's like, allow yourself to change from one energy to the other, dependent on the conversation, dependent on who you're speaking to. Because even all Gen Z, they're not all the same color. They're not all the same color in the sense, they're not all the same personality. Some are going to be a little bit more, some are going to be a little bit less, some are going to be more autonomous than others. Others are going to need a little bit more hand-holding. Let's not crucify them for that. Let's not punish them for that, right? Let's really understand. Let's really do what coaches do. Come into their space, really go into their space, really understand their model of the world.
True. Okay. So since, you are now leading the SCM Coaching Academy, obviously lots of leaders and people, they want to have a coaching course in order to better manage themselves, understand themselves, and also the Gen Z challenge, to tackle the Gen Z challenge. So what are you gonna mostly focus on SSM Coaching Academy?
So with the SSM Coaching Academy right now, we're focusing on two things as we grow it and develop it more. The number one is the first thing, which we finished our first cohort, is a coaching program. And it's ICF, so International Coach Federation, which is the large governing body of coaching. It's compliant with level 2, which means for those that are interested, so when you finish the level 2 ICF coaching course, once you do your coaching hours, you can then choose to do the exam for the Associate Certified Coach or for the Professional Certified Coach, depending on the hours that you do, which is great because once you do that, and it's a 6-month program because that's what the requirement of, so it's a full-on program. And after that, you become a certified coach that you can, certified trained coach, I would say, that you can actually start coaching and really, be confident. So this is on the one side. On the other side, what we're doing for leaders, for organizations, is the coaching mindset. So, and that can be that program can be a lot shorter, and it could be modified and customized depending on the layer in the organization. So we can look at a coaching mindset on the leadership side. We can look at a coaching mindset on a team level. We can look at coaching mindset on a managerial or even employee. Because at the end of the day, I don't just want my leader to have the coaching mindset. I also would love to see a coaching culture growing within the organization, which means we all need to start adopting the coaching core skills. So that is something that we are working very excited on, adopting a coaching mindset on an organizational level, depending on the layer. So this one is a bit more customizable. This one is this is more set and more
for the trained professional coaches.
For those that want to be coaches, either external or internal coaches in their organization.
Perfect. So, as a professional accountant myself, accountants and finance people, they tend to be quite, technical.
Yes.
They're, super spot on hard skills and technical skills. But now with the, technological advancement and AI and robotic automation, our, manual works are becoming easier. And then now we have to step into the boardroom. We have to, go and talk with our managers, directors, and we have to give them the management information that they need to make a decision, which requires a lot of, soft skills, communication skills for accountants. So our audience is mainly, accountants who are qualified from, different certification around the world. So for my fellow accountants, what would be your advice to, understand and bring that coaching mindset, thus, soft skills?
So, look, this is a great question. A lot of the times, the fields of numbers, let's say finance, accounting, even engineering, there is the mindset of logic. There's the mindset of 1 + 1 must equal 2. And that's correct when it comes to the operational side of the job. But when it comes to the human side of the job, where interacting with individuals, coming to agreements in, boardrooms, talking to different individuals to bring what, for me, I'm a marketeer, ex-marketeer, I'm coaching. You put numbers in front of me and I probably will freeze. So sometimes to bridge that gap, you need the emotional intelligence component. You need the social intelligence component. This is where coaching comes into play because it provides those skills. It allows you to take what you see so naturally, as numbers and whatnot. It allows you to sometimes understand what is the struggle of the person I'm talking to, whether it be it in the organization, whether it be it with client, stakeholders, and then what are they struggling with? If I'm sitting here trying to talk to them about budgets, about, profits and losses and whatnot, why can't they understand me? Why can't they see what I'm seeing? Coaching brings that space of collaboration. Let's listen to understand. Then let's ask open-ended questions to understand deeper. And that's what coaching brings in. It brings you that soft skill, that, again, the emotional intelligence, the social intelligence, to allow you to look at what is completely foreign and translate it into something that people can understand.
Yeah.
But you have to understand what they are struggling with first.
Exactly.
And that's the tool you get.
Exactly. I completely agree with you. As a professional accountant, as an entrepreneur, and as a manager, I mean, I also have different hats, so I know the struggles and challenges of everybody, because, accountants, they're also doing their best to bring up the financial statements and reports and numbers on time, but also they need to convert the information to the managers who are maybe non-financial, people. So that's why, we are always struggling. What is soft skills? Like everybody's talking about, you need to have soft skills. You need to have good communication skills. But what is them? How can I learn them? And I think I found the answer. That's the coaching. And it's from your, coaching session yesterday, and I truly enjoyed it. And I am hoping that in the future in Mongolia, with the SSM Mongolia operation and SSM global operation, we can bring more of these interesting courses, especially coaching courses and all the other necessary things to the evolving number of young entrepreneurs and young business owners in Mongolia, and especially women entrepreneurs. Yeah, they're increasing each year, and they're doing amazing new businesses, new ventures in the society, which just, brings our life better and more beautiful.
Absolutely.
So I would really love to invite you, when the time allows, invite you to come to Mongolia and have, great coaching session, seminar, workshop with us. I would love that.
I would love that too. It's amazing. It would be such a great opportunity to be part of the journey of, people of Mongolia and the entrepreneurs, the women, to really be part of that journey and create that change, amongst them. So yes, absolutely would love to be there.
Yeah, amazing. And also, Mongolia, we also have many expats and, foreign people who are working there, maybe studying or doing business. So they would also be very interested for this kind of, trainings without traveling further away, while they have the career set over there. And also Mongolia is, a Central Asian country. So to any Asian country, we are close by. So they can also come over and have a great session. So that's just, one of my dreams. And I think I'll try to materialize that very soon.
I look forward to it.
Yeah.
I'll pack my bags.
Yeah. Let's just maybe, finalize this great podcast with the question that what would you want to say, or what's your advice to the younger generation? Let's say whoever who is finishing their high school, maybe 18 or 17, younger people. What would you advise as a coach?
My advice to young people, and young people at heart, I would say, is be authentically yourself. Be unapologetically yourself. Because with acceptance comes change. Once we really accept who we are and we stop hiding in that shadow, that's when we can really see who we truly are and be able to see our strengths and the areas that are getting in our way of becoming the most that we can. And it's awareness. So, like I say,
just be you.
Just be you, but authentically you.
Yeah.
And don't just enjoy what you're amazing at, but be curious about what you're not doing so well. Don't hate it. It's where learning comes. It's where growth comes. And it's you. It's you. You just embrace it, so you can, if you need to change it, you do it.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Very inspiring. I wish I heard that 10 years ago.
I know what you mean. I wish I heard it too.
Okay, thank you very much, Talene, and it is was a great pleasure to speak with you about coaching and what it is, and also to learn more about you, because you have this inspiring story and career journey, and I am so inspired and touched. And
likewise.
Yeah, I hope we will meet another time, maybe in Mongolia, to discuss more deeply about the technicalities of the coaching and etc. So I just want to thank you for making this time, even though we have this intense, crazy schedule with the conference. But thank you so much on behalf of, everybody who is watching this podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me. It was such a pleasure. And you know what? We always have time for development and profession. So thank you so much for making the time and bringing me on board. And I'm so honored to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And best of luck for your doctorate, research. We are waiting for that.
Absolutely. I will share the results as soon as I have them.
Yes, please. Oh my God. Thank you so much, Talin. За, ингээд та бүхэндээ өнөөдрийнхөө подкастыг Rom Center-ийнхаа хөөрхөн номын сангаас хүргэлээ. За тэгээд би ч одоо энд нэг зураглаачгүй явж байгаа учраас одоо бүх видео бичлэгээ өөрөө нэг нь утсан дээрээ нэг нь одоо авч явж байгаа Osmo Pocket гэдэг энэ төхөөрөмжөөр хийж гин. Тэгээд аль болох та бүхэндээ одоо хэрэгтэй яриа өгөхийг хүссэн учраас бичлэгний одоо гоё сайхан харагдах төр биш илүү чанартай сайхан яриа өрнүүлэхийг хичээснийг ойлгоорой. За тэгээ дараагийн Debits Credits and Coffee-гийн дугаараараа бас илүү сонирхолтой зочдтой уулзцгаая. Дараагийн зочин маань одоо Монголд очсны дараа Монголын бас мандаг бизнес эрхлэгч одоо тэргүүлэгч эмэгтэйчүүдийн нэг байх болно. За тэгээ та бүхэндээ манай подкастыг цагаа гаргаж үзсэнд баярлалаа. За тэгээд мөн манай доктор Талинаас асуух зүйл бас байх юм бол та бүхэн комент хэсгээр бичиж үлдээгээрэй. Эсвэл манай SSM Mongolia болон FinCEN Academy-тай бас холбогдож болно. Мөн манай AMIRA-гийн вебсайтн дээр та бүхэнд уулзалт тавлах хүсэлт илгэх хэсэг байдаг. Тэгэхээр AMIRA-гийнхаа бас холбоо барих шугамудаар та бүхэн холбогдоод хүссэн асуултаа асуух боломжтой. За баярлалаа та бүхэндээ. Баяртай.